Right. Hopefully I won't be quite so dark all the way over here either. We're going to start sat down today, and you can sit in your comfortable seat, whatever that may be, whether it's cross-legged or on your knees or legs out front, doesn't matter. Got quite a class focused on hips and glutes and stretching out the side body this evening. As always, rest if you need to rest and modify if you need to modify. So to start with, we'll just take the awareness to the breath. So either have your hands on your knees, or if you prefer, one on your chest and one on your belly. It's entirely up to you. Gently close the eyes or have a soft focus just in front of you. And just notice your unique breath today. Notice where it moves the body. Notice how deeply you're breathing. Notice if you're breathing through your nose or your mouth or a mixture of the both. Notice the length of the breath. Just take this time to have a little mindful check-in. Now you've noticed the breath, have a quick scan through the body, noticing any areas that may be tired or any areas that might be holding tension. Notice how the body feels this evening. Then start to deepen the breath. However long your inhale was, add an extra 2 counts. And then as you exhale, see if you can add an extra 3 counts. So on the inhale, you add 2 counts to your normal breath. And on the exhale, you add 3 counts. Do 3 more breaths in this fashion. Really extending the exhale. And gently fluttering the eyes open. We'll do some block breath, including the arms as well. So if you're comfortable in your seat, stay where you are. If you need to fidget your legs like I have, then fidget your legs. Then inhale the arms up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out to the sides, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In. Hold. Out. hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. Now this time do the biggest, longest breath you've taken all day. The biggest breath you can do for the size of lungs that you are blessed with. And then we'll hold for 4 at the top. Exhale as slowly as you can, and then we'll hold for 4 at the bottom, in your own time. Excellent, well done. So taking one leg straight out in front of you, bring the right leg in towards you. So maybe it's on your inner thigh, maybe it's on your calf, wherever your flexibility is. Might be on your knee, but try and get it above the knee if you can. And then putting the right hand on the right knee, press into your knee as much as you can press your knee back into your hand. So they're both coming together. So press away with the hand, but then press back with the knee. So you're really engaging the inner thigh muscles. And just ease it off and then press it in. Ease it off, press it in. Just a few of those. Then take the right hand down to the floor. And with the left arm, sweep it around in front of you. Lift up the hips. And get a really big stretch down the side body. Just a couple of breaths here, really stretching from your fingertips all the way down to your toes. Then coming back down to the starting position. Really make sure you're sat on your sit bones. Inhale the arms up above your head. And then exhale, lean forward from the hips as far as you can. And when you can't go any further, bring the hands down somewhere on your leg, maybe onto your foot. And then just stretch and try and lengthen the back as you move towards the leg. Couple of breaths here. Really lengthening the spine, really trying to pull the chest forwards. Then release that stretch off, walk back up to center, straighten out the right leg, bring the left leg in. So to start with, press into the knee as much as the knee presses back into the hand. So we get that isometric stretch down the inside of our leg again. Just a few presses, so you press away, but you also press back. And then putting the left hand down on the floor, round down through the knee, swing the right arm in front of you, lift up through the hips and stretch out through the side body. Couple of breaths here. And then swinging that arm back round, place the hips back down, making sure that that foot is straight out in front of you. Lift the arms up above the head. And then moving from the hips as you exhale, come forwards as much as you can. And then let the hands fall wherever they fall. Might be on the knee, might be on the calf, might be further down the leg. And then really stretch the chest forward. So we're trying to keep the spine long. If you keep the spine long, you get a nice stretch down the hamstring. If you allow the spine to curve and drop the head, then the stretch goes into the back more. Really stretch that chest forwards. Excellent. One more breath here. And walking the hands back up, come up to seated. Swing the legs around and let's come up into tabletop. So knees underneath the hips, hands just slightly forward of the shoulders so the wrists aren't too compressed. Your toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Then let's do a few rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, let the belly drop. Let the sit bones go up towards the ceiling. Really push the floor away. Look up. As you exhale, allow the tailbone to tuck under. Curve through the spine, drop the head. Inhale as you come down. Really trying to get all of the spine moving and involved in the pose. And then exhale as you go up. Pulling the belly in, really lifting the spine to the ceiling. Inhale as you come down. Really pressing that mat away, and then exhale as you go up. Really pulling the belly in, letting the head drop. Coming back to neutral, take a nice big inhale. Look around towards one hip, making a C shape with the spine. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other hip, making a C shape the other way. Inhale through center. Exhale, look to one hip. Inhale through center. Exhale, look to the other hip. Inhale to center, one more each way. Look one way. Inhale through center, and then exhale, look the other way. Okay, coming back to center. Inhale, take the right leg straight out behind you. Cross it over, avoiding the door. And put the toes down onto the floor. And then look around towards those toes. This should give you a nice stretch down the whole of the right side of the body. So just take a couple of breaths here. And coming back to center, bringing that leg with you so it's straight out behind you. Bring it all the way around the side and place the foot to the outside of the hands. So we've got one knee down and the right leg at the front. Then take the hand to the inside of the right knee and just press it out. So we're winging out that foot. You can come onto the side of the foot and just get a really good stretch down the inner thigh. If you can sink the hips, but not if that causes you pain anywhere. Then bringing that foot and that knee back in, just heel toe the foot towards the center of the mat. Place the other hand down. Now you can either keep the back leg down and come up and stretch into the front hip flexor. Or if you need a bigger stretch, you can tuck the toes and lift the back knee. It's entirely up to you. But take the shoulders back, really feel a stretch down the left hip flexor. And if you have the knee raised, bring it back down. Take the hands towards the mat or wherever you can reach. And then scoot the hips back and wiggle that foot forwards. So you're trying to straighten the front leg, flex up the toes, and then stretch the chest towards the knees. So you're getting a really big stretch down the back of the hamstring. If it's too much in the back knee, again, you can lift the back knee. Try and step it in a little bit, and then really, really stretch the chest down towards the knee. The back knee can still be bent, if that helps you to get closer for your hands to the floor. And you can always use a couple of blocks or books to rest your hands on too. You're really stretching down the back of that leg, whichever way you chose. Keeping that back of the, keeping the back long is what I'm trying to say. Stretching the chest down towards the knees. And then take the hands to the left side of the foot and then take that leg all the way back. Then let's move to the other side. So take the left leg straight out behind you, cross it over and drop the toes down to the floor, and then look around towards those toes. And just have a few breaths here. Then coming back to center, bring the leg so it's back out behind you, and then bring it all the way around the side and place the foot at the outside of the hands. Then bring the left hand to the inside of the left knee, wing that knee out, and if it's comfortable for you, drop the hips forward as well. Keep the breath moving. Really trying to get into those inner thigh muscles, getting a stretch into the hip. And then on your next inhale, think about moving. On the exhale, heel toe the foot into the center of the mat. You can, again, keep the back knee down or you can lift it up, but bring the hands up onto the knee and sink the hip forward. So you get a nice stretch on the right hip flexor this time. If you need to raise the knee, just raise that back knee. Really concentrating the heel down towards the mat. So you're getting a really, really good stretch. If you want to take your shoulders back to increase the stretch, and again, that's another option open to you. Keep breathing. Then bring the knee back down to the mat if it was raised. Take the hands towards the mat and scoot the hips back. The hips still want to be above the knee on the back leg, and then flex the front foot so the toes come up off the mat. Take your chest towards the knee. If the back knee is sore, again, you can always lift that knee up. You can bring it closer, you can have that back leg bent, whatever is comfortable for your unique practice. What's the most important thing is keeping the back long and keeping the chest moving towards the knee or even the calf so that you get that stretch down the back of the leg. Couple more breaths here. And bring the hands to the inside of the front leg. Take that leg all the way back to tabletop. So this time, right knee, squeeze it in towards the tummy. Take it out to the side and then circle it all the way around the back, lifting it up as high as you can and then bringing it all the way through again. Inhaling, really squeeze it in towards the tummy. Take it out to the side, all the way around to the back, lift it up as high as you can, and then exhaling, bringing it back. Take a nice big inhale, squeeze it in, and then circle all the way back, and then bring that knee back down to the floor. Other side, squeeze the left knee in, take the leg out to the side, and then circle it all the way to the back, lifting it up as high as you can, and then bringing it back through, hugging it in towards the tummy, take it out to the side, circle it all the way around the back, and then bring it through. Last one, hug it into the belly, circle the leg out to the side, to the back, lifting it up as high as you can, Then bringing the knee back down to the ground. Tuck the toes and push up into our first downward facing dog. Now, maybe have a look at your setup. Stretch the fingers out wide. Really press down through the palms of the hands. Maybe pad one heel down towards the floor, bending the other leg, and then pad the other heel down. So just gently moving from side to side. Maybe stretch your chest towards your thighs. Maybe find some space in the shoulder blades. Maybe come up onto your tiptoes, bending the knees, just exploring our downward facing dog. Maybe taking the heels to the floor if that's in your practice. Then floating the right leg up behind us, bend at the knee, open the hip and get a really good stretch into the psoas muscle. So we're trying to reach our toes over the back towards the left shoulder, trying to keep the shoulders level. Excellent. And then from here, level back out the hips, bring that right leg all the way through and down onto the mat into pigeon. So everyone's front leg will be at a different angle. If it's too much on your knee of the back leg, you can either tuck the toes and lift the knee, or you can roll onto your bum and bring the back leg to the side if that's easier, if you're really tight in your hips. Everyone's front leg will be at different angles. So you might have your foot really close to your hip, you might have your foot more parallel to the top of the mat. It doesn't really matter, our hips are all put together differently, so do what suits you. Just have a few breaths here. See if you can relax into the pose with each breath. If you want to add a twist, you can always lift the back leg and reach around towards it with the opposite arm. Again, it's just an option that you can do if you want to. Good stuff. Then release that leg off if you have the bind. If you have your leg out to the side, then bring it towards the back of the mat, lifting up, because we're going to step back to our downward facing dog. So again, have a bit of a wiggle and a jiggle in your dog. Know where your tight spots are today. And then once you're comfortable, float the left leg up this time. Bend at the knee, open up the hip, really stretch those toes over the back towards the right shoulder on this side. Really getting a good deep stretch into the core of the body. Trying to keep shoulders level, trying to keep the breath moving in the body. Then looking forwards, bring that leg all the way through and into pigeon on the other side. And again, take the variation you prefer with your back leg. You can walk the leg back and have it nice and long. You can bring it out to the side slightly if your hips are really, really tight and do a 90-90 instead. Try and sit up nice and tall. And if you want to take a twist, you can bend that back knee and reach around with the opposite arm. Lots of options. Good. If you're in the bind, release it. If you have your leg out to the side, try and walk it back slightly. Lift up that back knee, lift up the hips and step back to downward face dog. This time we're going to tiptoe all the way to the top of the mat. And then just have a moment in forward fold. So a really big bend in the knees. Let the head
hang. Let the top half of your body be supported by your thighs. Just take a couple of breaths here. And as you inhale, straighten the legs and come up to a halfway lift. As you exhale, dangle back down into ragdoll. As you inhale, straighten the legs, lengthen the back. As you exhale, bend the knees, let the head hang heavy. Inhale as you stretch the legs long, stretch the back long. And then exhale, come back down. Maybe nod the head, maybe shake the head. And then very, very slowly, with the knees bent, gently roll the spine up, bone by bone by bone by bone. Inhale the arms up above the head. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. This time moving into a flow. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, bending the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Step back with the left leg, drop the knee. Inhale, arms up above the head. Bringing the hands together, make a little Charlie Angel's gun. Sink the hips down, or sink the hips forwards. And then once you feel really stable and grounded, take a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, take the hands over towards the right. So we get a nice stretch down the whole left side of the body and into the core. Couple of breaths here. Then inhaling back up through center, release the grip and float the hands back down onto the mat. Tuck the toes of the back foot, lift the back knee and step back to plank. Chaturanga of your choice, either knees, chest, chin, or come down to full chaturanga and then into cobra or upward facing dog. If you're doing upward facing dog, engage the knees and engage the core. Exhale, come back down to the mat. Tuck the knees, push the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Float the left leg up behind you and then swing it all the way forwards between the hands with a little bit of help if you need. And this time, try and keep the back knee raised. And if you need to drop it down, you can always drop it down. Inhale up into crescent lunge. Get comfortable first. Really squeeze the inner thighs together. Keep the front knee bent. Bring the hands together into a Charlie's Angel's gun. Really stretch out through the back heel. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale over towards the left. Couple of breaths here. Pointing those fingers over to the left, getting a stretch down the whole right side of the body and into the core. Inhale up to center. Exhale, float the hands back down and step the back foot forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, roll all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Take the right leg back, drop the knee. And then inhale the arms up above the head, grasping the hands, making the Charlie's Angel gun. Really sink the hips down and forwards. Really ground down through the feet, get really comfortable in the pose. And then take the fingers over towards the left, stretching down the right side of the body and into the core. Couple of breaths here. And then inhaling up through center. Exhaling, drop the hands down towards the floor. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then step back to plank. Chaturanga of your choice, either knees, chest, chin, or cobra. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And then coming through into cobra or up dog. If you're in up dog, engage the core, engage the legs, so the knees pop off the floor. Exhale back down, tuck the toes. Push your way all the way back up into your downward facing dog. Floating the right leg up behind you this time. Bringing it forwards and placing it between the hands. If you can keep the back knee raised, do so. Otherwise, drop the back knee down. And then inhale up into crescent lunge on this side. Grasp the hands, make a Charlie's Angel gun. Sink the hips down. Stretch out through the back heel. Nice big inhale. And then point the hands and the fingers over towards the right, getting a stretch down the left side of the body. If you feel unbalanced, really push down through the feet. Pull the inner thighs towards one another. Couple of breaths here. Inhaling back up through center, floating the hands down as you exhale, then step that back foot forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees and inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Good. Take the feet as wide as your yoga mat, pointing the toes out to the side. We'll bring our hands towards heart center and come down into a yogi squat. So go as far as your anatomy allows. If you need to use your hands on your knees, then do so. If you have any problems with your knees, then feel free just to come down and sit onto the mat. If everything is happy and healthy, come down into Malasana. So your elbows are on the insides of your knees, just stretching out through the hips. Couple of breaths here. Excellent. Then releasing the hands, bring the bum all the way to the floor. Feet come in front of you, and then we'll roll the back down so that we're laid. Keeping the feet parallel, toes pointing towards the bottom of the mat. As we inhale, we bring the arms up above the head and we roll the spine up off the floor. As we exhale, we bring the hands back down, rolling the spine all the way back down too, with the tailbone coming down last. So inhale, tuck the tailbone, lifting the arms, bringing those hips up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, rolling down through the spine. Inhaling as we come up. And then exhaling as we come down. One more. Inhale as you come up. Really lift those hips. Really stretch up through the back. And then exhale, come down. Then take the right foot up towards the ceiling. cross it over the left knee. So we have a figure 4. Then lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. This time we keep the hands on the floor. So take a nice big inhale as you lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Really trying to open out that knee. Really trying to lift the hips up. And then exhale as you come down. Inhale as you curl up. Really lifting the hips, trying to open that knee out to the side. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you go up. And then exhale as you come down. Then taking the arms through the holes. So we lift the left foot up off the floor and we grasp around the back of the left thigh somewhere. If you can then roll back down onto the mat, roll back down onto the mat. Try and relax the legs and try and pull them closer towards your chest. Maybe rolling from side to side to give yourself that extra little jiggle into the movement. If you need more stretch down into the glute, then feel free to press with your right elbow onto the inner thigh of the bent leg. Couple more breaths here. And release the hands, bring the left foot back down to the mat. Release the right leg and take it back down. And then lift the left leg up and cross the left ankle over the right knee. Keeping the hands palm down on the mat. Take a nice big inhale as we raise the hips up as high as we can. And we open the knee out to the side as much as we can. And then exhale, roll the spine back down. Inhale to lift it up, stretching that knee out to the side. Exhale, roll it back down. Inhale it up, really squeezing the glute of the standing leg. And then exhale it back down. Then squeezing the knees in towards the chest. Take your hand through the gap and try and hold somewhere down the back of the right thigh. If you can hold over the shin, then fabulous. And then pull the legs in towards the chest. And if you need extra traction on the bent left leg, then press your elbow into the inner thigh. Again, if it helps, have a little wiggle from side to side, a little rock into the posture. Keep the breath moving. And releasing the hands, release the legs, take both legs out long. Let the legs relax and fall open, and then hug the right knee in. Take your fingers around the shin, interlock the fingers, and then take the knee out to the side, and then pull it towards your right shoulder. Let the right foot be really floppy. And then engage the left legs. The left leg, the long leg, is really strong and engaged on the mat. Squeeze the knee in a little bit more. Really squeezing your shoulder blades together behind your back. And then release that leg and take it out long. Let the foot fall open. Bring the left leg in. Interlace the fingers over the shin. Take the knee out to the side and then squeeze it in towards the shoulder. Let the left foot be floppy and then really engage the right long leg. Really flexing the foot, making that leg strong. Then pull the knee in a little bit more. Really squeezing those shoulder blades together behind the back. And then release that off and take the left leg out long. This time we bring both knees in. So really hug both knees in. Then lift yourself up and hug around those knees. You might just hold the fingertips, you might be able to hold the wrists, you might be able to hold the forearms, or even a bit further than that. Hug wherever feels comfortable for you, and you can still get your head back down onto the mat. Once your head's back down on the mat, really squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Really try and lengthen the spine along the mat. Really feeling the compression in the hips. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then completely relax and release. So take the legs out long. Roll over onto your tummy. And everybody come into Sphinx. So shoulders straight, elbows straight underneath your shoulders, legs behind you nice and relaxed, hands are spread out in front of you. And then really pull the chest forward, trying to find space in the lower back, keeping the neck nice and long. You can either keep the head up, or you can let the head hang heavy, entirely up to you what feels best on your neck. Really squeeze the shoulder blades behind the back, stretch the chest forward one more time, really lengthening down the front of the body, trying to keep the legs relaxed, trying to keep the tailbone relaxed. And then from your Sphinx, bring your hands underneath your shoulder and push yourself all the way back into a child's pose. You can either have your knees together or your knees out wide, whichever feels best for your hips. So once you're in your child's pose, it's going to be an active child's pose as opposed to a completely restorative child's pose. So stretch your fingers straight out in front of you. Your forehead can be on the mat. Make sure your elbows are lifted. Walk your fingertips as far away from you as you can, whilst you simultaneously relax your hips down towards your heels. And then squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back so your shoulders are lifting. Really lengthening the spine. So as much as your fingertips are reaching forward, your tailbone is reaching back. Trying to make yourself as long as possible. Then walking the fingertips over towards the left. Relax back down again and really feel the stretch into the armpits and down the side of the body. If you need to walk those fingers even further, stretch them away from you, and then really try and encourage the sit bones down onto your heels. Really trying to push the armpit down towards the floor. Feel how that changes the stretch for you. And walking the fingers back through center and over towards the right. Let the head come back down. Walk those fingertips as far away as possible. Stretch that sit bone down towards the heel. And then stretch the armpit down towards the mat and just feel how each of those movements changes the stretch. Walking the fingertips away, stretching the sit bone down, stretching the armpit towards the mat. Then walking the hands back through center. Wriggle your way all the way back forward again so that you're laid on your tummy. This time we'll just do a little strength, spine strengthening series. So to start with, you bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Curl the spine up, keeping the breath moving in the body. And then lift the hands off the floor. So you're using your back muscles to hold yourself there. Nice big inhale here. We're going to hold for a couple more seconds.
And then exhale, come down. Place one hand on top of the other. Place your forehead on the back of the palm and completely relax in crocodile pose. Okay, this time, take both hands out in front of you. You'll lift opposite arm, opposite leg. So lifting the left arm and the right leg, keeping the head long so the back of the neck stays long. Really pull the core in, lift those limbs up a little bit higher. Nice big inhale here, and then exhale, drop them down. Inhale, lift up the right arm and the left leg, so moving to the other side. Lifting them up a little bit higher, keep the back of the neck nice and long. One more inhale here, and then exhale, relax. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Really stretch away. So the toes are stretching back, the fingertips are stretching forwards. Really stretch, and then exhale back down. Inhale up the other side. Stretch the toes away, stretch the fingertips away. Really stretch, stretch, stretch. And then exhale back down. Bring your hands back to crocodile pose. So one palm on the mat, the other arm on top of it. And then rest the forehead on the back of the palm. Then taking the hands around behind the back. Interlace the fingers and stretch them away from you. If that's too much, you can always hold onto the elbows instead. Whichever one you choose, take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, lift up the shoulders and lift up the feet. So you're stretching your hands back towards your feet, and your feet are stretching away from you. Nice big inhale here. Really squeeze everything up, squeeze everything together. Can you lift a little bit higher? And then exhale, come back down. One hand on top of the other, forehead on top of the hands, and completely relax. With the next one, lift your head, bring your left arm in front of you so that the forearm is parallel with the end of the mat. Reach the right arm round behind you. Bend the right foot and see if you can grasp somewhere around the ankle or the top of the foot, wherever you can. If you can't grasp, reach in that general direction. And then as much as you kick back and up with the foot, you lift up the knee and really stretch into a gentle back bend. If you can't reach, reach back with a hand, lift up the knee, and really squeeze back. One more breath here. On the next inhale, start to think about moving. On the exhale, bring the knee back to the mat and the arm back to the mat, and then switch to the other side. So bending the leg, stretch around with the left arm, grasp the left ankle or foot, or reach in that general direction. And then if you've got the grasp, kick back first, so it raises the chest, and then kick up, so that you get that nice back bend. If you're reaching in the general direction, squeeze the leg up, really squeeze the glute muscle, and really reach your hand back. One more breath here. And then release the knee back to the mat
Release the hands back to the mat, one hand on top of the other, and then the forehead on the back of the palm. Have a few restorative breaths in crocodile pose. Okay, last one in this series. This time reach both feet up towards the ceiling, point the toes. Reach both hands back around. If you can grasp onto your feet, then grasp onto your feet. If you can't, reach your hands back to curve the spine and then reach the knees up towards the ceiling. If you can reach your feet, first of all, kick the legs back so that it rounds the chest and then kick up. Maybe roll onto the soft part of the tummy and then look up as you kick up. Couple of breaths here. And then exhale, come down, release the grip or release the legs back to the mat. One hand on top of the other, head on top of the hands, and completely relax in crocodile pose. Couple of deep breaths. And bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself all the way back and through into a child's pose. Really stretching that lower back after all of those back bends. Encouraging the sit bones down towards the heels. You can relax the arms here. Then walking your hands all the way up until you come up to seated. Coming up onto our knees. Because we've warmed our back and our hips up so much, we'll just do a camel pose. So make sure that your knees are directly underneath your hips. So you don't want your knees to be too far apart because that will put too much stress on your lower back. So keep the knees directly below your hips. And then there's lots of different variations in camel pose. You might just start by supporting the lower back, tucking the tailbone under, and just stretching the chest up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the ceiling. You might be able to go a little bit further, but just be kind to yourself and do what your body wants today. If you can go all the way back and grasp the heels, then you want to keep the hips forward. If your hips are coming back, you've gone too far. I think I'm too stiff for that today. So just opening the chest, opening the hips, having a couple of breaths, and then bringing yourself back up. Bringing your hips back down. Just have a moment. Sometimes camel pose can make you feel a bit squiffy. And then we'll do a seated twist. So coming to the middle of our mats, stretching the legs out long in front of us. Bring the left leg in, cross it over the knee, and then turn around towards the left. So really hugging that knee, looking over your left shoulder. You can use the left hand on the floor to give you support to keep the spine long.
Couple more breaths here. On each inhale, really lengthen the spine. On each exhale, see if you can twist a tiny bit more. And releasing that off, come back to center and just do a little counter twist. So moving to the other side, doing an open twist. And then untangle the legs, taking the left leg out long, bringing the right leg in, and then cross that foot over the knee. Really sit down on the sit bones, lift up through the spine, and then hug around towards the right. Using your right hand as support so you can keep the spine long, and looking out over your right shoulder. With each inhale, lengthen the spine. With each exhale, see if you can twist a little more. And coming back to center, take the twist in the other direction for a gentle open twist. And then do whatever pose your body craves this evening before coming into Savasana. If you want to go straight into Savasana, then feel free. If there's something else you've been practicing or you want to do, maybe a happy baby, maybe another twist, then feel free to do whatever your body wants to do. Move in whichever way you want to move. Whichever pose you have chosen, have another couple of breaths here. And gently come out of that pose. Stretch the legs out long on the mat. Bring the arms down by the sides and completely relax your body in Savasana, in corpse pose. If your feet are uncomfortable with the legs out long, then bring the feet to the floor and let the knees roll in. And if you have any tightness in the hips and you want to do butterfly legs, then bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees roll out. That can also be great for sciatic nerve pain. And then take the shoulder blades underneath the torso. Make sure you are really comfortable. And completely relax in your chosen Savasana. Feel the feet heavy and relaxed on your mat. Notice the lower leg completely relaxed and heavy, laid on your mat. Your knees heavy and relaxed. Your upper legs, thighs, hamstrings, heavy and relaxed. Your pelvis, right hip and glute, left hip and glute, heavy and relaxed, with the tailbone supported on your mat. Notice your belly, lower belly, belly button, upper belly, expanding with each inhale, softening with each exhale. Completely relaxed on your mat. The lower back, middle back, upper back, heavy
and relaxed. The ribs, chest muscles, collarbones, heavy and relaxed on the mat. The hands, heavy and relaxed. The wrists and forearms, heavy and relaxed. Elbows, heavy and relaxed. The upper arms, completely heavy and relaxed on the mat. Shoulders and shoulder blades, relaxed, free from tension. The neck and the throat, completely relaxed. The head, heavy and relaxed on your mat. So rolling over onto your side when you're ready. And gently bringing yourself up to seated. Thank you for making the effort to practice with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed it.